Hello and welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman Ernest. We would like to thank TV47 for giving us the opportunity to showcase the B.B. Comer Memorial Library and its contributions to the greater community of Sylacauga. Joining me today is Mr. Browne, our resident sculptor here in Sylacauga. Many of you have seen him on Norton, or I guess looking a little bit different as you're sculpting away. We've had you on here before, but it's been quite some time, and we're here because you were finishing up your latest piece, right?
Correct.
Before we get to all that, though, just a few background questions. Some people might not even realize, like, how did you get to Sylacauga, a little bit about your education, and how you even got into sculpting.
I'm a Birmingham native. Went to Vestavia Hills, graduated there in '86. From there, I went to Montevallo and studied fine arts, got a BFA in sculpture. I studied abroad for a year, taught for abroad a year in France, had a Guggenheim scholarship to Venice, Italy, and from there, I went to Carrara, Italy to work in what I thought was the only source of pure white marble. Had no idea Alabama had it.
Yeah, Sylacauga nonetheless.
Exactly.
And so somehow you got back over here. How did you end up in Sylacauga or working in Sylacauga?
A friend of mine in the Alabama Business Journal, there was an article on the Marble Festival. And this was 6 years ago. And he brought it to me and showed it to me and said I might be interested. And again, I had no idea. Then called the mayor's office, and at that time it was Sam Wright, and he invited me down. That was my first marble festival, showed him my portfolio, and he and Dr. Ted Spears, the head of the Marble Council, or Arts Council, and the
Marble Festival.
Magic of a Marble Festival, asked me if I'd be interested in doing a piece for the city, and that's how Sylacauga Emerging came about, and wow. I haven't left yet.
And the rest is history. Well, we are so thankful, and especially at the library, obviously we are a huge supporter of the Arts Council, and the Marble Festival, as evidenced by all the beautiful sculptures in there. And so that's really the whole purpose of the Marble Festival, is to get our names out there, and for those who might not realize the beautiful marble we have here, and its many uses, obviously for artistic uses as well. Right. And so Sylacauga Emerging, out in the front lawn. Mm-hmm. Background, what the story behind it, because I know obviously you name them. Where did that come from?
Well, I'll give you the short of it. More than anything, it was Sylacauga was rediscovering itself and redefining itself as the Marble City. And you know, it's really difficult to relate to train loads and bag loads of slurry that were leaving from the industrial quarries, but at that time the dimensional stone quarry was re-emerging, so to speak, and you know, really to give the people of Sylacauga something to be proud of in the sense of their stone, and you know, something that they can interact with as opposed to just being white dust on their car or something like that. Right.
Well, and since that time, obviously our sculptures have grown. We already had the meteorite one, and now on the library lawn, which I guess has been 2 years ago.
2 years ago was the dedication, about 3 days ago.
Oh, wow.
So
you've been a busy bee.
Yes.
Well, you know, and growing up in Sylacauga, I just remember the whetstone piece was in front of the library, and it was something that always captured our imagination. And so there's new generations now discovering marble, its beauty. Hopefully, you're going to be cultivating new sculptors, right?
Well, it's the goal.
So when we're talking about this piece that you're finishing up, or in the last few weeks of finishing up, obviously everyone knows Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan. How did this come about, and where is it going? I just want the whole spiel on it.
Well, interesting enough, the commission came about because of the Marble Festival. The Lions Club of Alabama came down, and they were looking for a sculptor to do, this year is their 100-year anniversary or centennial celebration, and they were looking for a way to memorialize or to celebrate the celebration. Right. And so they commissioned me. It was about 2 years of back and forth, them raising the money, and then finally signing that, and then 2 years of work, obviously. So this has been going on for almost 4 years.
Wow.
And I have the Marble Festival to thank for that. And it was interesting. We had a lady, I'm now the president of the local Lions Club, and at our district conference, we had a lady come in from Trinidad, and she kind of put it all into perspective about how neat it was that we were Lions in Alabama. Helen Keller is the person that got the Lions Club involved with curable blindness.
Right.
And that what an honor to be from Alabama, where Helen Keller's from, be doing a sculpture of Helen Keller, be doing it out of Alabama marble, and at the same time being a president of a Lions Club here in Alabama.
Right. It's full circle, right?
Exactly.
Well, if you haven't seen it, it is absolutely, every time you do a sculpture, I'm thinking he can't outdo himself. But when you start out with these blocks and then get down to, something, and this is something that everybody's so familiar with. So, I guess there's a little bit more pressure because this is a real person, two real people. And what a special moment. And so the name of the sculpture is?
The Warmth of Enlightenment.
Yeah, and it is the scene of...
It's that moment when Helen makes the connection between sign language and actual words, and that things and the signs actually have significance. It's not just a game, it's not mimicking, it's...
Right. Wow. Well, and I know obviously The Miracle Worker, there's multiple movies, there's stories, there's the plays, but to have something that is actually going to be at Ivy Green, her home place, correct? How in the world is that going to be moved from Sylacauga all the way up there to North Alabama?
I will be contracting the moving of this one out to professional monument movers.
Wow. No.
And I'll just be absent that day. I don't want to witness it.
Well, what we're here for is to talk about a reception that we're going to have celebrating you, celebrating this sculpture, and sending it off on its way. And obviously, selfishly, we want to claim some of that, spotlight, because it is made out of Sylacauga marble and will be there for many years to come for thousands of people to see. So I want to quickly give the dates, and then we'll take a commercial break. So this is open to the public, a reception celebrating the warmth of enlightenment. It's going to be at B.B. Comer Memorial Library, and that's June 16th. It's sort of like a brown bag series, and that there'll be 11 o'clock reception with food and all of that from Hickory Street Cafe, and then the actual program. And so we want everybody to be there to see it off and to celebrate you, because I know this has been a lot of work on your part, 2 years of your life.
Yes, it has.
Krager, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
Okay.
Hi, it's Shawnee McNeil at South First Bank. This is a great time for you to buy or build a new home, or maybe refinance your present mortgage. Our rates are the lowest they've been in years, and that means saving you money. We've been helping our customers become homeowners in this area for nearly 70 years, and we can make our approvals right here in the office, and that means saving you time. We're located here in downtown Sylacauga. Come in and find South First, a better way to bank.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
At Marble City Pharmacy, we're more than just a drugstore. Our gift shop boasts some of the most unique treasures you'll find anywhere. Come in and browse the vast selection of jewelry, purses, clothing accessories, and crafts. Let our friendly staff help you find that special card or gift for any occasion. Our dollar wall features selected sale items, and we stock a wide variety of specialty items. And if it is a drugstore you need, Marble City Pharmacy was named the 2015 McKesson National Pharmacy of the Year. Visit us today at Marble City Pharmacy.
The Allen Companies of Sylacauga, with 3 locations to serve you: Highway 511, Highway 280, and Main Avenue. For all your convenience store needs, ice, drinks, snacks, and of course, some of the lowest priced gasoline at the pumps. It's the Allen Companies of Sylacauga. Highway 511, Highway 280, and Main Avenue. It's the Allen Company convenience stores.
Hello, and welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman Ernest. Joining me today is our resident sculptor, Krager Browne. No stranger if you've been around Sylacauga. We've seen your beautiful works here, which we are so fortunate. We're sad because your latest work is not going to be staying with us for much longer. Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan, The Warmth of Enlightenment. But it's been a pleasure for 2 whole years. Your work, I can't imagine, first of all, the nervousness when this is 2 years of your life, but wow, that's a long time. Is that the typical time it would take for you to do a piece?
Well, it depends on how intricate the piece is. And with this, with the tight spacing between the 2 figures and also the water pump, there are just a lot of areas that are difficult to get to, and other sculptors can really appreciate
Right.
physically what I've gone through to get into those spaces, and then, of course, hopefully make it look like it was easy.
Right. Well, and it does. And I think that's something that, sometimes we take for granted. But I remember when you were working on Sylacauga merging and being up on that scaffold and just how in the world you even did the things that you did just to reach it, that it's a feat in and of itself, and then that it looks so lifelike, that it's really miraculous. I said to somebody, I think that you're the miracle worker of marble.
I don't know about that, but...
Well, there's so many people I know in our community that have a love for your art, for Sylacauga marble, and for continuing to support that. And if we want to just talk about some of them, I know one of the ones that we really want to highlight is Coosa Valley Medical Center, and we intend to do so at the reception, June 16th.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate Coosa Valley supporting sculpting here in Sylacauga, and if you drive by, you'll see that there's a sign that gives them their props, and they actually have supplied the lot that I'm working on.
So the space where you're working is actually the hospitals. And just allow you to do it, which I think is a great idea. I know that you get tons of visitors and it makes it difficult maybe to get work done. But for somebody, either coming to Sylacauga or who lives in Sylacauga to be able to see someone sculpting, and not in some closed studio far off and you just see the end result, I think that it's so much more special, and that we as a city take pride in your work.
Well, I've had people from conservatively 35 different states stop by there, and probably close to 10 different countries. It's unbelievable, the traffic that comes by there.
Right. Yeah, no, you've increased the traffic on Norton for sure. Well, and I know that the Spears have been an intricate role, starting with the Marble Festival, and that one of their goals, and Dr. Ted's goals, is to get the word out about the Marble City, about our beautiful white marble, not only for industrial uses, but for, like you said, the dimensional stone and sculpture. And so when you talk about people coming from all over, our Marble Festival draws sculptors from all over.
Exactly.
We just winded up the 9th Marble Festival, and we had a wonderful turnout from sculptors all over, I know.
And secondhand feedback, a tool supplier of mine in Kansas, of all places, said that he spoke to a number of the sculptors from this past Marble Festival, and they just ranted and raved about what a wonderful experience it was, and the hospitality of Sylacauga. Of course, they all said they needed to go on a diet because they ate so much. But
Right. They were fed well. Well, and I think that's one of our goals, is to make sure that the sculptors enjoy themselves, because they're our guests of honor here, and we want them to return, and we want them to go to New York and tell their friends and their other colleagues, so that we can continue to grow this thing and to spread the word about Sylacauga.
Exactly.
Well, so beyond Coosa Valley Medical Center, I know there's lots of other people that support you, that support your endeavors here. If you want to mention some of those, go right ahead.
Well, so many different entities come into play in a project like this. And, obviously you got Coosa Valley with the property. Con Crane has been just phenomenal to work with. They, the patience, the expertise that they have also in terms of, moving in 24,000 pounds. And
wow.
The library pieces, when they were just raw stone, that was 40,000 pounds of marble. And
that's a lot.
And the cons have been just wonderful in that sense. Obviously, the Sylacauga Arts Council has been instrumental in terms of promoting and really support and that sort of stuff. And, I can't say enough about the Marble Festival in that sense, that, this sculpture is a byproduct of the Marble Festival. Right.
Well, and that's hopefully what, so then as people come through, that they're like, they want to give you the next project, the next big thing. In fact, I'm sure there's people standing in line like, can we be the next 2 years of your life? So the dates of the reception that we're going to be celebrating this Warmth of Enlightenment, your latest sculpture, celebrating you, celebrating our community sponsors. It's at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library. It's Friday, June 16th, so right around the corner. No pressure to finish up, right?
None whatsoever.
And that will be at 11 o'clock. The reception will start then for food and fellowship, and then at 12 o'clock is the actual program, and the entire public is invited. We hope that there's standing room only, spilling out into the halls, because we do want to celebrate you and celebrate this piece and to celebrate Sylacauga marble. Craig, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk more.
All right.
Hi, it's Shawnee McNeil at South First Bank. This is a great time for you to buy or build a new home, or maybe refinance your present mortgage. Our rates are the lowest they've been in years, and that means saving you money. We've been helping our customers become homeowners in this area for nearly 70 years, and we can make our approvals right here in the office, and that means saving you time. We're located here in downtown Sylacauga. Come in and find South First, a better way to bank.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
At Fort Williams Pharmacy, you won't find motor oil, garden hoses, or mountain climbing gear. Nope, they don't have that. What they do have is a professional, friendly staff that understands your needs. Filling prescriptions is their primary business, and they take it seriously. They also have a drive-through window for your convenience and free local delivery. Most of all, Fort Williams Pharmacy knows your time is valuable, so when it's time to fill your prescriptions, you need it done fast, friendly, and accurately. Fort Williams Pharmacy, our family, caring for your family. Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room, to surgery, to cancer treatment, to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Hello and welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman-Ernest. Joining me today is our resident sculptor, Craig Browne. We've all seen him working on Norton on his latest piece with Helen Keller and Ann Sullivan, The Miracle Worker. One thing that we haven't hit on is, you see the pump, is there going to be actual water running?
There is going to be. It's going to be a trickle fountain. It was sort of a battle with the people at Ivy Green, but just like the pieces on the library lawn, I wanted it to be interactive.
Right.
And there are literally hundreds of kids every week that go through Ivy Green.
Definitely.
On field trips. And when I was a kid and I went on field trips, if I just listened to someone talk, after about 5 minutes, kind of glazed over.
Right.
But this way the kids will be able to put their hands under the water with Helen and Ann and close their eyes and sort of experience that moment for themselves. And hopefully that will have a lasting impression on them as well.
Right. Well, and I know, I'm sure we'll start to see, it will be the ultimate photo op at Ivy Green, so that you will have your name, and Sylacauga marble will be plastered all over, because it's going to be there forever for thousands of people to see. And Ivy Green is in Tuscumbia, is that right?
Correct. It's in the northwest corner of the state.
Right. And so when you're finished, that will be transported up there. Will there be any kind of dedication at Ivy Green?
There will be people coming in from all over the country and some from overseas for that dedication, and that'll be either late July or early August.
Right. So we want to make sure that before they are sent off, that we have our opportunity, and it's the reason that we're having a reception June 16th, Friday, starting at 11 o'clock is the actual food and fellowship, and then the program is at 12 to celebrate you, to celebrate the warmth of enlightenment. And this is something that is open to the public. We want everyone there because, like I said, I think everybody takes a sense of pride in it being Sylacauga marble, and we're just so thankful to have you as our resident sculptor here. We were talking about the sponsors, that you couldn't do it without Coosa Valley Medical Center giving you the sculpting side and their many contributions, but I know the library plays a huge role.
Yeah, the library is sort of the unsung hero. They're the behind-the-scenes people that even the Marble Festival, it's unbelievable the things that they do for this town that people don't realize.
Right, beyond just being a library.
And
right.
It's not the director or just the director. It's everybody from Mike on the lawn making everything look perfect, and to the ladies that make the inside look flawless, and invitations, slideshows by Nelda.
A lot of work. It is. And you're right that they don't, you think it's the library, but they wear so many hats.
They really do.
Yeah, the staff there, starting with Dr. Shirley and now to Tracy Thomas, that she's just, I don't know that she realized everything she was going to have to do, but, be it sending out the invitations, preparing for these programs, everything is always first class. And I think that's one of the huge draws, not only to Sylacauga, but during the Marble Festival, is the library.
And also providing such a just beautiful location to do it.
You're right.
It's unbelievable, the facilities.
Right. I say all the time, I feel like it's a museum, really. I mean, as we continue to acquire more pieces through each Marble Festival, it's absolutely beautiful. Do you have any pieces in the library?
I do. I have the study, which is the head of Sylacauga Emerging. And I believe that's all that's in there right now.
Well, I know you have things for sale in there sometimes, right?
There are parts and bookends.
Right. Well, and a lot
things
of
of
people,
that nature.
Yeah, people ask, because I think some people don't realize the expense and the time that goes into it. Oh, can we just buy a sculpture? Like, no, most people walking off the street cannot, but you can buy a heart or a bookend, or I know you did the necklaces, business card holders.
And more than anything, those are so people can leave here with something.
Right.
And, and I try to keep it as affordable as possible so that, when they take that back to, say, Kansas or a place like that, and then someone sees it, they'll tell the story of Sylacauga marble and what they saw here and the people that they met in this town and how beautiful, the marble is, the town is, the people are, the library where they purchased it.
Absolutely. Well, and I know that beyond your contributions through your sculpture, that you've really become involved in the community. And one way is starting up Lions Club again, right?
Right. The Lions Club was here when Avondale Mills was up and running. And as Avondale left, so did the Lions Club. But we started the club again last year. And I had already had the commission with the State Lions Club, and it was interesting. They came to town and they were recruiting, trying to start a club back up again, and they had no idea I was the sculptor doing the piece, and they showed me the state pin that they do every year, and it was actually the drawing that I had done for Helen Keller and Nancy. I was like, hey.
I think I recognize that.
We kind of had a good chuckle about that, and Helen Keller was the reason the Lions their mission is to tackle curable blindness. And we do a lot of stuff in conjunction with Callahan Eye Center, which is another just blessing to be in Alabama and have them this close. But what we've done, what I love about the Lions Club is it's your club your way. And they really stress serving your own community, you're not collecting money and sending it off to Indonesia or somewhere. Sure. It's about really helping your neighbors. And just a quick overview. We did vision screenings, and again, this is Callahan Eye Center, state-of-the-art vision screenings for over 600 school kids this past year. We're scheduled to do even more this coming fall.
Right.
Raised thousands of dollars for the care house, couple of thousand pounds of food.
Wow.
Community garden, built some raised flower beds for
Dinner Under the Stars,
people,
right? Yeah.
For Dinner Under the Stars, and also for people that are handicapped. These are wheelchair accessible.
Right.
And took part in Sunshine Saturday, helping beautify the beautiful town of Sylacauga.
Right.
And a number of people that can't afford eye care and eye exams, they contact us. We take care of it with a local optometrist here in town, and they do a wonderful job working with us, and so.
And all of that is through, I guess, contributions, right, from your members and from other people. So can people just contribute to your local chapter, or how does that work?
They can, and the way we're set up, that all of our expenses we pay ourselves, and so any contribution that's given goes directly to help the community. And we started a Leo Club at the high school, so we got the kids involved. Ended up being the second largest service club in the school this year in their first year, which was quite impressive.
Right.
But we sent a couple of kids last year to it's a leadership forum for the weekend down at Troy University, and it's not just Lions Club. It's a lot of life lessons, and we're sending 3 this year.
Wow.
We sent a child to Camp Seal Harris, and childhood diabetes is another big cause of ours because it's a cause of blindness.
Sure.
And we sent a child, all expense paid, for a week to basically get a little more comfortable with, living with diabetes, and how to treat it, how to, there are other kids. There are other kids just like you, that sort of thing, and.
Well,
we do that every year,
and the screenings, I know because you had it at Knollwood at Payne School, they were free. And that's something I don't think that they had ever had any eye screenings. And you think, oh, I know about my child, but then there's two of his classmates that ended up needing glasses, and these are third graders that didn't otherwise know that.
And it's amazing the difference it makes in children when you find those 2 or 3 kids that they don't know any better. They didn't know that they couldn't see.
No.
And this is the only way that they're going to find out, and a lot of times those students go from making okay to bad grades to suddenly A students and the head of the class.
Well, and what a neat connection, a testament that you've done this sculpture, honoring Anne Sullivan and Helen Keller, which they went on, as we all know, to do amazing things together. What a team they were after this moment, this warmth of enlightenment.
And Anne Sullivan is kind of the unsung hero, and it's funny because the movie is The Miracle Worker.
Right.
Not the miracle, but the miracle worker.
Right, as in the teacher.
Exactly,
right.
As in Anne Sullivan. And, and I feel like I've got to tell her story. She was 20 years old, a kid herself when she came down, and she had been in and out of homes and had vision problems. And I think when the school director up in Pennsylvania told her that Helen was facing being institutionalized herself, that's what motivated her, and that she knew just the horrors that she would face, which made her come down and actually work that hard. And she didn't come to Alabama, to Tuscumbia, to change the world. She came to change a child, to save a child, and she did. And the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, the impact that had on humanity.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize Helen Keller is instrumental in women's suffrage laws changing, your right to vote.
She could have stopped there, but she did not.
No, she did not. She also
instrumental
in child labor laws. And, what's amazing is she became the voice, even though she had no voice in the sense of being able to see or hear, but she became the voice for people that figuratively had no voice.
Right.
And the spokesperson, and traveled the world. And we had our visiting sculptor this year, and it was interesting. He had the honor of carving the Pope.
Yes.
And that was neat. And then I started thinking, more people know Helen Keller than the Pope he carved.
You're exactly right.
And it's
this goes way beyond Alabama. You're
exactly.
right. You're right. She is such a figure and such an inspirational story. You don't have to be deaf or blind to find the inspiration and the obstacles that she overcome, and the truly inspirational figure is, like you said, Anne Sullivan, because without her, none of this would have been possible. I want to go over those date, time, all of that information really quickly before we have to wind up. So we're having a reception to celebrate the sculpture, to celebrate you, to celebrate our community sponsors, including Coosa Valley Medical Center. It's going to be Friday, June 16th at the library. The food and fellowship starts at 11. The program begins at 12 o'clock. And so you just make your way in. Hopefully everybody can come because it is open to the public, and we hope to see you there. And thanks so much, Gregor, for joining us today on the Library Today.